What we are going to do today is basically of file management commands in Kali Linux. So that is Kali Linux administrator. Open my VMware now. This one. Administrator is in Kali Linux is very important because as we all know, we use Kali Linux machine for most of our hacking activities. So apart from that, of course, we have a lot of organizations that make use of Kali Linux OS for their daily activities. So that's why it's very important, to know some command, and this will help us to navigate ourselves. So here, like yesterday, of course, I don't know, maybe I think most of us here now, we are not that much today. We are in class, we were in class yesterday, so I show you guys how to install Kali step by step, how to install it using this virtual machine. Of course, this is what I installed yesterday. This Dragon OS is part of our tools. This is Ubuntu version of it. Then this is Windows, in which I send the links to the group that everyone should download this, in which we are going to make use of next week. So, and this is Metasploitable machine. So here you can have as much as possible OS here, depend on the job that you want to do and what you have in mind to do. So now I'm going to open my Kali machine. This is it. So I've already showed you yesterday how to set it up. So we click on display here to get the machine. Yeah, so this is my own machine, so it's up now. Yeah, so what we need to do today is to show you some commands and how to navigate yourself. Of course, we have done part of it yesterday. So, but today is mainly of Kali Linux. So I have to show you again how to navigate yourself, how to write some commands using terminal. So yesterday, of course, this my machine might be a little bit different because this is what I use mainly for my work. So it might be a little different from the one I narrated used yesterday, but both are the same. So just the what is it called, the background desktop version here that you might not see here, but everything here are the same with what I showed yesterday. So now here, this is my terminal. So this is my terminal. You can choose to set your terminal in different way, the way it depend on you, what you like to do. So these preferences, you can make the same changes here. If you click here, of course, you can set it to the way, configure your terminal the way you like. So that's how you use your preferences. I don't want to make any changes here because I've set it up already. So it now depends on you what you want to do here. It's just a settings anyways. So how to personalize your configuration, your terminal. So that's just what you use terminal for. So here yesterday, you want to make it to be very bold, use Control plus L. So some people using terminal here, you might use Control Shift plus and plus sign key to zoom. As you can see, Control Shift and plus sign on your keyboard to zoom. So that's just about that, as what we can see here. Then to zoom in, zoom out. So that's how to do that. Then yesterday, of course, I show you how to divide your terminal. If you want to run multiple scripts at the same time, you need to divide your terminal. So I've divided this one now horizontally. This first one, I can say, okay, I want to run something like this here. If config, then enter here. Then you might decide to come down here to IPA, then you enter. So you can run at the same time, but you will enjoy it most when we are doing the raid hacking. So you will enjoy it most because most operations at the same time. So now, like I said yesterday, we need to do some run some small code today, scripts, just to familiarize ourselves to the terminal. So I want to collapse this one so we can be here. I don't know, maybe you see have it. So these are the things that we are going to carry out. We have some using this command here today. Then after that, I will show you some stuff. Then after that, we call. So now, first thing to do here is to, what we just want to know now is to know the directory we are working on, in which we have tried yesterday. That is, we use pwd. So this one now shows that we are in home, then smart agent, then desktop. That's the directory we are working on. So now let's assume that, as you can see here, we are not in a root directory. This is not in a root directory. If you want to change it to a root directory, of course, what you need to do is just sudo, then su. We ask you for your password. Of course, you will key in your password. So as you can see now, we are now in root directory. So if you now check it again, pwd, enter, then you will notice that the directory have changed. The directory is where you save your works, like window, like desktop, documents. So that's where you see where we are working. Anything you do now will be saving inside this particular folder. So that's what you need to know about that. Inside the list I sent to you, we have, if you want to, for example now, if you want to list files and directory in the current directory, so what you need to do is just ls. If you want to know what's inside here, as you can see, these are the folder I have inside this particular directory. All this folder, test, this means all those stuff what I have inside this directory. So also you can go further for more option, ls, then dash here, as you can see. So this one will give you the full details of what you have inside the root directory, in which these are the whole file that we have, as you can see here. So these are the whole file we have inside this particular directory. So also we can change the directory. To change the directory, for example, now, okay, let's list now to see what we have. So now we want to enter, we want to know what is inside this geo tracker here. I want to know what is inside the geo tracker. So what we just need to do now is just cd, then you just type geo. That's how to change your directory. So now what I'm now trying to do is that I want to open this particular folder, like this application, what we have here. We want to make use of them. So now I said we are inside the desktop version. So we want to use this geo tracker. So I said to know what is inside this desktop, what we have inside desktop, you just say list, then enter. So these are the things, these are the things we have inside this particular folder. So I now said if you want to open any of these, you can write a directory geo tracker. So as you can see now, we're in this particular file. We open it. So we want to know what is inside this geo tracker, as you can see here. So just ls. So inside the geo tracker, these are the file that we have. We have file name, that's modus. We have package or Dixon, package or this and that. We have all these ones. So that's how to locate your file using ls. So and how to locate your file using where you save your file, root directory, and where your file is being saved. So those are the little things that you need to understand. So now if you want to clear this, just clear the screen. So now the next thing to do now is we want to create a new directory. So create a new directory is that you want to create a new folder. So for example, now if you want to create a folder using on your desktop, I think what you need to do is just like you right click anywhere on your desktop here. We are out of Kali-Linux. I want you to know that. So this is my desktop. So you just right click anywhere here. You can say, okay, new folder here. Then this is it. You can rename that as well. Rename it. So you can rename it. Just right click on it. You see rename. Then maybe you want to say Kali. This will give you the folder. So you understand. So that's how to create a folder, any folder but in Kali-Linux is a little bit different. We use mostly what we use is command. So to create any folder, you just say mk, make mk, then you put direct. That is, that mk stands for make, then dr directory. So that's what we use to create. You now space, then you now put the name of the directory, space, the name of what you want to create. Maybe you want to name it as math, then enter. So as you can see now, we have created a folder inside this particular directory. So we can now check if this actually exists inside this GeoTracker. So we now use ls to check if it's there. Of course, this is it. This is what we just created. So you can open it if something is inside the mat. To open that, what you just need to do is just write it direct, then enter. As you can see, this is mat. We are in that folder, but you can see maybe something. If you want to know maybe something is inside the folder, just ls. As you can see, there is nothing inside. So that's how to create a new folder using terminal. We can delete this particular file, this folder as well. Remove this particular folder. This mat is a file. You can remove it. So to remove this one now, since we are inside this mat, you have to go back a little step to GeoTracker folder, because this mat was created inside this GeoTracker folder here. It was created inside here. So we need to move back a little bit, one step backward to this GeoTracker folder just to remove this. So we just need to do cd cd space dot dot, then enter. As you can see now, we are back to this GeoTracker. As you can see, we are back to this GeoTracker folder. If you want to see again what's inside the GeoTracker folder, what you just need to do is ls, enter. As you can see, inside the GeoTracker folder, we have math again. We have, these are the folder, these are the file we have. So now we want to remove this math. We want to delete it. So to remove it is a little bit simple. It's just rm, then dir, then you put the name of what you space, you put the name of what you want to remove, which is math. You click enter. So now this math has been deleted inside the GeoTracker. What does this rm mean? It's just remove. That's Kalinini's way format of their, that's where they structure their command, so everybody will be in the same page. So rm for everywhere over the world is remove. dir over the world everywhere is directory. So remove directory, remove. So this rm stand for remove. What are we removing? We are removing this math. From which folder? From which directory? Inside GeoTracker folder. So that's what this rm dir mean. So now, if you now search again to find out what is inside this folder again, we use list again. As you can see, we can't find maths again here because we have already removed it using this command rm dir maths. So that's how to remove any folder from that's how to remove a file from a folder. So that's how you follow. You can do the rest when you have access to your terminal. Just follow these same rules the way I'm just following the document. Just do that. So that's what I just want to point your attention to. Then you can use find as well. Here we have what is called find inside the folder. Maybe you can just say find. Then what are we finding? What are we looking for? Maybe maths. There is no, as you can see the error now, no such file or directory. We get this error message because we have already deleted maths from this folder. Let's assume we have maths inside the folder. Of course, we find it. It will give us just something different. Okay, now inside this folder now we still have modules, node modules, we have packages.json, we have public, we have others. So now let's find public. As you can see now, this is what we get. It shows that we have this one here, this public here, as you can see, using find. So let's assume you have a lot of files and you are looking for a particular folder or maybe file. What you just need to do is that you use this find space the name of folder you are looking for. Then you will get the result like this here. So that's how to use your command. And let's go to system monitoring command. So system monitoring command is just another different things. It just maybe you want to display, we use display to improve your version of, to check your disk space and show your directory. So that's just system monitoring command. So now let's use top command and see. As you can see, these are the top command. This top command will show you everything inside the folder. As you can see, the top command will show you everything here inside it. So to close it now, to leave this particular display, all you just need to do on your keyboard is just Ctrl plus C to cancel on your keyboard. Ctrl plus C. That is something like this. I'm coming. To close anything, maybe you are running a file, you are running something, and the thing is keep running, and you want to stop it on Kalinins. What you just need to do is Control. Let me just use this. That's Control on your keyboard, CRL. Then you now click on plus C. That's plus C. Control and C together at the same time. Then it will give you what you need. So that's how to stop any running command or anything on your terminal.
Okay, sir. I have one question, sir.
Okay.
All right. From these Kalininos, I think I
Yes.
can use word interface. I mean, what was it called? Terminal, right?
Yes.
That
Yes.
I want to ask that is it possible for us to create a folder
Yeah.
from this terminal? Like, the other time, unlike the other time you went to the window, I mean the desktop, then you
Uh,
create a
yes.
then from
Yes.
attach that folder from Kalininos. I'm not asking that. I want to ask that is it possible for us to create any folder using all this code and that folder will not appear in the desktop?
Of course, it's possible, which is what we have done. And we want to go back a little bit because this is our desktop. So that means we have to leave this folder, geo tracker. Now, let me go back a little step. To go back a little step, just say the space dots. Then now we are in desktop environment. But let me just go back a little bit again. Space dots. Now we are in Mass Legend folder. So now let's look at let's look at what we have inside this Mass Legend folder. We use ls. So now inside this Mass Legend folder, we have desktop, we have documents, we have downloads, we have music, we have picture, public, template, videos. That's the folders we have inside my Mass Legend. So now we want to create a folder, just like question you asked, we want to create a folder inside this desktop. So we go and check if actually the folder is there or not. So now what we just need to do is very direct, just like the way we practicalize it. We use make. That make is to make a directory. MK is to make, to create MK. That MK stands for make. Then I said dir stand for directory. Sure, you understand? So we call it directory instead of you calling it a folder. Inside, when we are working on terminal, we call it a directory. You might not actually maybe folder. On Windows, you call it folder because you right click and So, but here we call it a directory. So what you just need to do is that depend mk then dir then space the name of that directory that you want to create, the name of that folder that you want to create. Let's say we want to create a popular Google folder. Just say Google, then you click enter. This will be inside the Mass Legend folder. Let's check now. ls. As you can see, we have it here. So now your question is we want to create it on desktop. So we will go back to desktop and check if it's actually there. So what we want to do now is that we move a little bit, we open this desktop. Just what you just need to do is that you can type it cd then desktop. So when you write it like this, what you just need to do is enter. So now we are inside this desktop folder. Before we create the folder you asked for, let's check what we have inside the desktop. To check, you use ls, which is to list, list, to list what we have inside the folder. So we have like this. So these are the folder we have. These are the file we have inside the whole desktop. If you open our desktop, of course, we find all this folder there. But now we want to create a unique name that is not here, that we go and check after we create the folder. So what we just need to do is that mk make dir, that is, then Matthew. Let the name of that folder be Matthew. So we just say mtt like this, then this. So now, if you check here from the terminal, what you just need to do is to confirm. Maybe that Matthew has already been created. Just ls, then this. Of course, this is it. And if let's assume that you have a lot of folder file here that you can't find it immediately, then what you just need to do, just use find command, find, then write the name complete Matthew, then we show you this is it. Then now let's minimize this and check our folder. This is our background, this is our desktop environment. Let's check if we actually have the name inside our folder here. So to confirm, we have so this is our file environment, then this is a desktop, this is our desktop where we create the Matthew. We click on this place, so we look here if we can actually find the folder. As you can see, this is the folder here. This is the folder we just created. Of course, we can create a folder here too using right click or left click, but it's not advisable. As you can see now, it's giving me, I can't create it directly. But let's assume that I minimize this, I come here, the folder is among of this, where this folder we created should be here. It's just that I did not want it to display name. So let's check one after the other. You will see that the name, the folder we just created will be here. This is it now. This is the folder we just created here. As you can see, Matthew. But it's locked just because the type of description and everything I put. So you understand, I lock it that it might be very hard, even though if I put something inside, to see. So that's just about that. Now you can right click here as well and create a folder here. So our name is, maybe our name is, let's say, Joy. Then you click create. So this is it now. But why are we not using this? Why are we using terminal? Why are we not using this, since this one is easy? The answer is very, very simple. Why we are using terminal is that, let's assume that you gain access to a target. You want to hack Google and you gain target, because to hack Google you must use terminal. You must, everything, your code, everything must be inside terminal. Anything you want to do must be inside terminal. So now maybe you are already trying, you are gaining access to a terminal or a system or their network. You can't leave this terminal and go and be doing it. You can't do that using your desktop environment, using click and open. No. If you gain access to my network, everything will be here. You will see my network here. So you can only work on that particular network here on this terminal. You cannot, here you cannot right click and be creating a folder here. It's not possible. So that's why we make use of terminal. We want to create a user, because when you are working with any organization, of course, everyone's have different power, that is access to their resources. You will never see any organization that will give you the full access to their network or to their database. No, you can never see any organization, because they know that you might exploit the power and use it to go against them. Because of that, they give everybody have different access to their resources. So now let me explain furthermore. So what I mean by that is that every users have different privilege. So I will show you how to create users. Of course, I shown it yesterday, but today I'm going to do that using terminal. Then I will give that users the user. What we are trying to do is that, as you can see here now, we want to restricted the user to junior pen tester. So you understand. So this one now, we will not give this person a sudo power, sudo environment, like this command. This sudo is just like when you are running an application as a super admin. That is, if you put any of your this thing, let me just practicalize what I'm trying to say now. Let me practicalize what I'm trying to say. So for example now, this is not a root environment power. If I want to do anything now, or maybe I want to install any application here now, of course it's going to ask me to, sorry, it's going to ask me to provide the administrator password. Of course it will ask me, because I'm not running it as a administrator, I'm just running it as a normal users here, as you can see, because it's not in a root environment. So now let's know the kind of environment, the kind of power we have. To know that you use pwd, that is, this will show your directory. As you can see, it's not a root environment, so I can convert this to root directory, so I will have power to do anything that I want to do. Even though if I want to install, I want to do anything, I will have power. But now if I want to install anything now, it will ask for administrator password before I can do that thing. So now let's use sudo to convert it to root version. Just use sudo, then su. It will ask me to provide the administrator password. Of course I'm going to provide that. So when you are typing password on Kali Linux, it will not display it. It doesn't display, just for a security purpose. As you can see now, we are in a root environment. This root environment is the same as you having administrator knowledge on your system. So what do I mean by that? Let me just minimize this. We can just so I can show you what I meant by our Windows system. This is my window environment. I want to go to control panel. So for control panel, you can search just control panel. This control panel on a Windows system is where you have all your application and some settings. You can control whatever you want to control using control panel. It's just a powerhouse of a system, of a Windows system. So I click enter. So I will have this pop-up here. Of course, we have a lot of resources here, but now I want to show you administrator, how you can give users, create an account for as an administrator. So first, let's just create a little account here. Before this, let's come here. You will right click on this square here, you right click here, then from here you will see computer management. I showed you yesterday. You click here, then from there you will see this pop-up. It will take you to this place. Then from here you go to local users and group. Then you go to users here. Then from these users you can create another one, create a new users, just like yesterday. Let me call it Matthew. Let the name of this be Matthew. Then full name, let me say Matthew Legend. That's the full name. Description, you can leave it like that. This one, password, I don't want it to have a password. Just leave it like that. User must change password at next login. I don't want to change any password. I want it to be like that. Account is disabled. No, I don't want to. Password never expire. Yes, I can click this. I don't want the password to be expired. Then you create. The name of this has been created now, as you can see here. But this one now is just a normal user. It's a standard user account. So it can now install anything because it's not an administrator. So now that we have created this, we want to give this person a administrator privilege. So to do that, you just go to control panel, in which we have done, that took us to this environment. So from this environment, what you just need to do is that click on accounts. From this account, you will see all the users here. You see a lot of things here. Change users, user account. So if you click on this user account, of course, I see this one here. Maybe because I just created one, that's why we can't see the Matthew I just created, because it's supposed to appear here, but I can't see it now here. But let me just use this one now. When I restart my system, of course, I will see this. I will see this. So what I just need to do is that if you want to change this user to any if you want to change this access, is an administrator. This cyberface account is an administrator account, but you can change it to anyone. That you can change it to anything you want to change it to. So as you can see here, we have changed your account name, change your account type, manage account, manage another account. So we can manage another account, which is this one. This is what I just created now. As you can see now, local account, this administrator account, but this one is just a normal, just an ordinary account. So now I want to change this account to a administrator account. So I will be able to have authority to do whatever I want to do on my system, on my PC. So now, if I click on this now, I will have change the account name, change password, change the account type, delete the account, manage another account, change account type. You click on this. So now here, you will have access to change it from standard account to administrator account. So you click on this one, then you click change account type. So as you can see now, is now an administrator in which this user can install, can delete, can do a lot of things. But previously, it was in standard account. A standard account cannot delete anything. It cannot do anything. Only if you change the access to this particular privilege. So in all the organization, if they hire you today, this will determine what you can do, how far you can use your system to do on your system. In some organization, an employee cannot install any application on their system because that system is being managed by an administrator, in which what we are doing now. If I give you my system now and I give you standard account, of course there are some things you'll be limited to, some things you can do. You can't do everything because I give you standard account. But as an administrator account, of course, you can do anything. Delete, you can add user, you can delete, you can do a lot of things. So that's how to do it on Windows system. But on what is it called? On Kali Linux. Okay, now before I even go to Kali Linux, you can switch to that account now. From coming to this environment, click here. If you click here, of course, you will see the option to change. See now, if you want to switch to this one now, of course, you can do that. But I don't want to, not to interrupt what we are doing here. So now, let's go back to our terminal. So our terminal is here now. So now we are back to our environment here. So what we want to do now is that we want to create a user. And this user is a pen tester, a junior pen tester engineer in SYZ organization, or let's say in Google. So you understand. So we want to create. So we want to give the person, we don't want the person to have this super admin, to have root knowledge, because root knowledge is just the same as what I just showed you on Windows, which is administrator accounts. So I want to create it that it will just only to view some things. It will not be able to install. It will not be able to delete. That's what we are going to do today. Next thing to do now is to create new group called Pentester. Sure, you understand. We want to create the group. So to do that, you just need to do sudo. We want to create. We are in organization. We are in Google. They just hire this person that I want to create in Google. So, and this person is a junior pen tester. So they now ask the administrator, Kali Linux administrator, to create an account for this person and make this person to have a less privilege. That is, we don't want the junior pen tester to have a full privileges. We just want him to be able to do some things and not be able to do the whole things in the organization. That's what we want to do, because that's the work of Kali Linux administrator in any organization, to configure system, from configuration of system to give access, from giving access to resolve every problem that every users are getting. That's the main work of Kali Linux administrator in any organization. Just like a support engineer in most organizations, what they do is that. So as a support engineer, if you have this knowledge, is a very, very great advantage. Very, very great one. In fact, to get higher is very, very easy. Very, very easy, because it's a two different OS. Windows and Kali Linux are two different OS. So if you have the knowledge, it's very, very superb. So let's continue the process. So now, first thing to do is that we call this what we want to do as role-based access management. That is, we just want to give the guy, the new hire, the access, so that he will be able to do what he can do. We will not give him excess access, just a little access. That's part of security management measure, just to give someone access he can do. We are doing this main reason for one thing. Why we are doing that is that we don't give everybody access. Any organization, we don't give you all the full access. Is that you are not, as an hacker, you work into this guy account. So if you now have access to with this guy's accounts, if you're a super admin, of course, you'll be able to even sign out the CEO of that organization. You can remove him from the organization. You can withdraw their own money. You can do everything as a super admin. You can close the organization. You can say a lot of things about the organization. You can take over everything as a super admin in that organization. So because of that, you can never see any organization that will give a user, a particular person, the full privileges just because of what I just said. So that's why it's very, very important to know how to do that on Taleninis like this. So the first thing to do now is we want to create a group. We create a group. Inside this group, anybody inside this group, we always have that particular access. Why we usually create a group for this is that you cannot be creating users and be giving them that access one by one. Let's assume that you hire 1,000 users and you now want to give them that privilege, that junior pentester privileges. So you cannot be giving them one by one. So we create a group. That group is that group that we assign the less privilege to. So anybody in that group will automatically be affected with that particular access. So if I created a junior pentester group, if you put me inside that junior pentester group, of course, we have the same access, same privilege that others have. That's the beauty of creating a group and give that group and the access. Then everybody in that group, we have the same common goal and the same access. To create a group, you just use sudo, then space. You just group, as you can see, add junior pentester. So you can complete this. So as you can see now, he's saying this group junior pentester already exists because we have junior pentester in our organization. That's why you can see something like this. This group, we have some people there. So let's just name it something else. So we be able to do what we want to do. So now let's say sudo. This sudo is I'm telling my computer, my command that I'm a super admin. I'm using it as a super admin. That's what we use sudo for. Of course, I can start my script with just group add junior pretester without using sudo. But that would be like a less privileged administrator, a less privileged users. So that's it. Then group. I will explain what each of these commands stand for. Then let's say senior. Let's create for senior. That's hyphen pentester. So this senior pentester now, what this senior pentester can do, it will be more greater than what junior pentester can do. Just like a hierarchy of employee in an organization. So that's tester. Then you click enter. So now we just created the group now. We named the group. We use this sudo as an administrator. That is, we are telling our colonies that we are a super admin. I'm a super admin. So then give me access because I'm a super admin. I want to create this group. The reason we use sudo is that ordinary users cannot create a group. So you must be a super admin before you can do that. And even though if I don't use sudo to do that, of course I'm a super admin already. Why? Because I'm already in a root environment, as you can see. I'm in a root directory, and root directory already automatically have super admin privilege. So that's how to do that. Then I'm telling you that group add, as you can see, then to what? Senior tester, as you can see here. So now the next thing to do now is that since we already instructed it to create this name called senior pentester. Yeah, so now we have this one now. We have created the group now. The next thing to do, like I said, sudo command, run it with administrative privilege. Then the group is intended to organize users who will be limited privileges. So you understand. So now what we need to do now is that since we have already created the group, what we want to do now is that we want to tell our computer that this person we are creating group for, anytime he sign into his computer, to his Kalinin's environment, he must be using this our shell, this bash environment, because everything we are doing is called a bash. Is a bash, is a script. We call it bash. Just like command in window, in command prompt in window, we call it a command, just a command something. But here we call it a bash. So everything we are doing now is that we want to tell our computer that when the person sign into his or account, he also must have access to this particular environment. So the next thing to do now is to create that environment. So now we use this command sudo users. So now, as you can see now, it's because I have this on my system before. That's why it's keep showing all this thing for me. But here, I'm just used to show. I will explain the script, what the script stand for. I will explain what this letter stand for and why we are using it, because that's the main thing that you need to understand here. Then we want to give that person a name. The name of that user. Let's give the user as Max Legend. Then you can put hyphen Max Joe. So let's just leave it like that. So let me explain what this command does and why it's like this, because you need to understand step by step. Now that's why I started from the scratch like this, so everyone can understand. This command is not what you can cram. You don't need to cram it. I'm 100% sure that with time, once you can run this yourself, of course, you will grab everything. You don't need to be going and be learning bash scripting separately. Doing all these things, of course, you will used to it. Just with time, we understand how to run all these things. So now, let me explain what this one stands for. Of course, I've already explained that sudo is to give you a administrative knowledge, like power, privilege, super admin, to give you to run this command as a super admin. That's what we use sudo for. So now, the next thing to do is that the M flag, this M, I will tell you what it stands for. What this one stands for is home. Flag ensure that home directory, that is, we want these users, this Matthew, to be in this group, senior pentester group. Then when we created this Matthew, this group, we want this group to also have a bash, to be in a bin. This bin environment, this is a folder, this is a bash. That is, this particular thing that you can see here, this here, is just telling this computer that when these users have access to this group and they want to log in, it must also have this terminal. This terminal is a bash. This is where we run the bash. So we want this group also, this computer, this person, to have access to this terminal. That's why we use bin. This bin is a folder. Then we are turning this folder, we want this folder to be in a bash, to be able to run a bash script. So that's why we put this one here. And this M is home directory. That is, inside this home directory, we want this person to be in this senior pentester directory. That's why we use M. It stands for, here in this particular context, it stands for home directory, this M. Then we are now turning this -g here, we are now telling it that to assign this one, to assign this Matthew to this group, to assign this Joe, this user, to this group. So that is, technically, if you want to create another person, you use this same command. The person might be maybe Mr. Abraham, to be in this place, Mr. George, to be in this place. You must always follow this command everywhere if you want to create, and you want this person to have the same access with this person. So you have to create using this command. So that's what this G stands for. Then the S here, this S is just like, you want this person, like what I explained here, to have a bash, to be able to use bash, a default, to set it as a default. It's a default, to make the default terminal to be a bash, to be a share, to make this share to be a bash environment. So that's just how what this letter stands for. M for home, that is, the home directory is M. We want it to be in this senior pentester. Then we want this G just to assign, stand for assign, to assign this person to this group. And this M to automatically make this person to be able to use bash or share environments. So that's what this command stands for. And this user add is just for you. We are telling this, okay, add these users. That's what this one stands for. This S user, add user, add this user. Then to where we are using this to take this commander, it will be in home directory. To which group, to assign to which group. That's what this one stands for. This -G, to assign it to pentester. And when we assign this one to pentester, what do we want this user, this man, to have access to be able to use what? to assign this user to what? To be able to have access to shared and bash environments. That's what this command stands for.
Sorry, that minus S.
Yes.
What does it stand for?
Okay. Yeah. So with this minus S, it just stands for set. That is, we want to set this bash environment as a default for this match Joe.
Okay.
So you understand? That is, set
Okay.
it as a default for this match Joe.
What about the bin and bash? What does it signify?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Before we proceed, before I answer that question, let me just show you something. We come back
Okay.
to here. Okay, this is what we are using. So let me quickly do something so you can see what I'm talking about here. So this is our file system here. This is our file system
Okay.
here. So yeah, so this is our, we are inside root environment.
Okay.
We should be able to find our root here. Let's look for roots, root environment. This is our root environment. So file to open this root. So it's asking us to run it as an administrator. Open root. Yeah, so I put my password. Yeah, so this is our root environment now, where we have here. So inside that bin, you ask for bin. This is a bin folder here.
Okay.
This is a bin folder. So we want that person to be inside this folder. Here you understand?
Okay.
So we want the person, this is our folder. If we share this
So
one
now go
now,
to bash.
it go to bash. Here you understand? No, we now
Okay.
what we are now doing is that we want that person to be in this group inside this bin folder, and inside the bin folder, we want the
There's
person to
another
be able
folder,
to
bash.
use bash. Here you
Okay.
understand? So that's what the person So if you check here now, you will see a group called, if you search for it, junior Pentesters that I told you that I've already created.
Okay.
It's just that I don't want to waste your time, but in your own time, this thing, just find time, junior. So now let's go back to our terminal. Yeah, this is where we are now. So now, I hope everyone understand what these commands, what these scripts stand for before we proceed. You like enter. So now, since we did not get any response, it shows that this senior pen tester group has already been created. Let's assume that it throw an error here. Of course, that means maybe our script is not correct. But now we got the response without any error. It shows that this group has already been created, and these users has already been assigned to this place. So now the next thing is to assign a password, to create a password. So we use this formula, this script to create a password for the user for Max Joe that we just created. So we just say sudo, then ps. Anytime you want to send password, you not write it in, just pss, then the name of that person, which is Max. What is the name? That's Matthew Joe. Sorry, Matthew Joe, then space Joe here. Then you click enter. So it will now ask you to provide the person's password that this person will use to sign in. Don't forget the reason why we are doing this. Remember that you are working with Google as a Kalininis administrator. Your work is to create a name, to create a profile for any new employee. Your name is to support the new employee whenever it's having problem. So the first thing that you need to do as a pen tester and as an administrator in that organization is to create a profile for the person, in which what we are doing, that's what we are doing now. So now we have already created the name of that new employee, which is Mark Joe. Now we want to give this person a password. So the password, it depends on the person, it depends on you. But for us here, let's use this password as root, ROOT. Don't forget, Kalini's terminal here is case sensitive. So if you use capital letter R instead of small letter r, maybe later you give the users capital letter R instead of small letter r, it's going to throw an error. So we use small letter R throughout. R, which is root. You will not see the password when you are typing. That's the beauty of Kalininis. Then you enter. It will now ask you to provide again. I'm typing root again, which is ROOT. I enter again. So now, as you can see, the password updated successfully. As you can see, that means we are done with this user creation of these users. So now, how are we going to test? How are we going to know that this thing that we have done is already working? How are we going to know that this user is already have access to our environment, our company? We're going to know that what we have done here is already working. How are we going to know that this guy already have access to our environment, our network? So let's go and check. So what without leaving here, what you just need to do is that what you just need to master is the name of this user, which is what? Matt Joe. Let me just copy it. So which is Matt Joe. Then we now come to this place. You go to switch user. So we want to confirm. We want to confirm maybe this user we can log in successfully. So you come to this users, switch user. So we are going to switch. Then the name of that person is Matthew Joe here. Then the password is what? Root. Then we click sign in. Now, so it shows that this guy now can sign in successfully, as you can see. Okay, now, so it shows that this new user can sign in successfully, which is what we have just done now. So now, we based on our script, we said that this user should use Majo and root as a Majo as a username, then root as a password. And we also said that this user must be able to use bash, that is a shell, which is terminal here, which is this. He can use, as you can see the name of this user now here. Matthew at this top here, as you can see, that's the name, that's the username, Matt Joe here. So it shows that this has successfully been created, the user has successfully been created, and he can access his account now. So now what we need to do now is that let's try to use a sudo. Let's try to do something that will require us to use sudo, that is to use a privileged account, and see what we are going to see. Because this guy, he cannot use, he doesn't have access to a root environment. Let's try to do that and see. Sudo su. I told you that if you want to change your account to sudo to root user, to a super admin user, to an administrator environment, you use sudo space su. Then I enter. He asking this Majo to provide this password just to do that. Then the password is root, if you can still remember. Root. As you see the error says that see, Matjo is now in the sudoers file. This error shows that it's not a sudoers file, that it doesn't have a privileged account. It can't use a root environment, as you can see here. The incident has been reported to the administrator. Who is the administrator? I'm the one, which is Matthew. My legend is the administrator, as you can see. So what this guy can do is limited, very, very limited, very, very limited. It cannot create a user. Let's try to create a user, just like what we just did. Let's try to create a group using these users. Sudo group at, then let's say hacker. You want to create an hacker group using this, then you click enter. Let's provide this password. As you can see, it cannot create this group because it's not a super admin, because it's not an administrator. So that's how to, when they hire you in any organization, this is what you'll be doing as a Canadian administrator, how to give someone an access to their application, to their software. So you can manage, you can give different access. You can even create the users that we have the full access. You can create the user that we only have access to one application. You can create a user that we have access to the whole application. So that's first thing you normally do when they hire you as a Canadian administrator in any organization. Then now I want to switch back to my main machine. You come to this head again at the right hand side here, top right hand side here. You click here, then you see switch users. You can have millions of users in this machine, in this network. So here, just let me put my name, Mass Ligan, which is my username. Then, so now I'm back to my own environment. So that's how to do that. We are done with that. Then the next thing that we want us to do before we go, I know time has gone. We're supposed to round up now. Just give me 5 minutes so we can round everything up. So now I want to show you network session, how to navigate yourself when you are working with as a network engineer, or maybe you want to support, you want to work with network engineer or network security. So we have some little script, little command that you need to understand. So what you just need to do is that for this network session, proper network configuration ensure reliable connectivity. So when you want to ensure a reliable connectivity and for penetration testing, there is a way you, for this person we created now, there is a way you configure this person network so his network can be stable, so you'll be able to carry out his daily activities or daily tasks. So next thing to do now is to, we have two type of network configuration that you can do. The first one is you want your IP. You want to have a static IP, and we have to have a dynamic IP. Static, okay, yes. A static IP is when you want your IP to remain the same. You don't want it to change. Whenever what you are doing, you don't want your IP to change. That is static, which is very, that one, the difference between static and dynamic IP is that static IP is very stable, very stable, compared to dynamic IP. A dynamic IP can change. For example, now, if you connect to my network, because I set my own workstation to be dynamic. If you connect to my network, if you disconnect, another IP will assign to you. Another IP will assign to you. If you connect again and disconnect, another IP will assign to you again. But when you set it to a static IP, of course, your IP will, even though if you come back next year, your IP will always be in that, it be the same IP. So that's what we just want to do. I want to show you how to do that before we go. So now, what you just need to do is that in Kalininis, you just need to write a little command. So the command to write is very straightforward. We want to configure our IP settings, we want to configure our DNS, and we want to configure our routing, which is very basic things to do as a network security or network engineer. We call this illustration as a network topology diagram, just to show how to set up IP, how to set up your DNS server, and to gateway configuration. So let's quickly do that and call it a day for today. So now, what you just need to do is that sudo, I'm using sudo to start my command because I don't want any error, because I want it to be, I want to be a super admin, So that is why I'm using sudo to begin my command. Sudo, then nano, then let me just complete, let me explain what this command stands for. So now, nano. This nano, whenever you are using this in nano, it shows that you want to call a text editor. What is a text editor? Of course, I normally use Windows system, Windows to explain, because most of us are used to Windows. So that's why I normally use Windows system. Your main text editor that you have here is your notepad. Is where you can write something. Say you understand. This is my text editor. This, you can write something here. You can do whatever you like. That's your main text editor that you have, that everybody should know on Windows system. But in Kalininis, of course, is a little bit different. You have to call it out using command. So in which you want to do now. So I will explain this, what this line mean. I believe by now you understand what sudo mean. And nano, which is, we want to call a text editor. We want to create a text editor, and the name of that text editor to be network interfaces. I will explain. Yesterday, let me split my screen, so I will show you in this class. So now let me split my screen to right here. No, now IP here. See, like yesterday, this is my text editor. This is my, let me enlarge it so you can see it better. Yeah, see now, these are the interface. Hello. These are the interface, network interface that we have. These are the network interfaces. That is, if I plug in my USB now, I'm coming, so you can, I want you to, please, just give me, let me find one of my dongle. Now, I've connected my hacking network adapter to it. So I choose connect to virtual machine. This is where I'm working. This is my machine. Then you click on this. Remember my choice. Then click OK. So now, if I ping again, the name will appear here. I just want you to know how the network interfaces look like and how external interfaces look like, because I'm going to explain the three interfaces again so you can see. So let me write this command again. IPA, enter. So as you can see now, I have LAN 0 here. I have LAN 0 here. I have it. This is what I just connected. This is my network adapter dongle that I just connected. So this is what I use normally if I want to do hacking, pen testing, and others. So this is it. This is the name. So now, and this is the one that I'm using. This is wired network. So yesterday I showed something here. This is our network environment, as you can see. Here, as you can see now, this is my network. We have two network here. This is wire network, that is cable network. If you want to connect your network cable, this is wire network, and this is my Wi-Fi network. We are able to see this Wi-Fi network because I connected my LAN 0 here, my network adapter to it. So this is it. It's connected now. So now, LAN 0, we have three interfaces here. Network interface, we have LAN 0, we have ETA 0, and we have LAN 0 here. So now, like I said, this LAN 0 is a loopback address. That is, if you want two machines like this, if you look at here very well, I have 4 machines here. OS here. So if I want this Debian to be able to communicate with my Dragon OS, of course, I'm going to use this hello. This is what my machine will use, loopback address. That is, this machine will be able to communicate to himself. Anything you do, if you ping anything here, it will interpret it. This machine will be able to talk to himself. We use hello. Then each is 0 is just our wire network. That is, if you are using CAT cable, is what is our wire network. Then this LAN 0 is my network adapter. So that's what I want you to understand about interfaces. So now, I was talking about hello. That's loop interface, loopback address. Let's ping. Let's say we ping Google. I will tell you what I want to do now. Ping google.com here. So this one is telling us that Google is responsive. That is active. If you go to this website, it will go. That's what this one is telling you. That's test. We are testing it. If Google is going, it's going now. And if you want to know the IP of Google, this is their IP here. This is their IP. So now, if you are unable to connect, or if you are doing any testing, what you just need to do is to ping. You can ping this one as well. This IP. Let's just split our screen. Let's ping the IP so we can see. So that one is still running. Now we want to ping the IP. I want to so you can see what I'm talking about. Ping 212.1.56. So we can have a stable Control C on your keyboard. It will stop the process. 56. Let's just ping 58. Okay, 58 dots 223. Thank you. Dot 196. Yeah. As you can see now, it's going. So it shows that this IP is already assigned to Google, so nobody can use it. If you want to assign this IP to something else, it will be telling you the IP is busy because Google is already assuming it, is already using it. So you understand. Then our own company too. Let me use what you used to, our cyberface. Then let's ping cyberface and see w. So let me just use here. Clear. So now ping cyberbase technology.com. So as you can see now, it shows that this cyberface website is active. This is our IP. So if you are trying to assign this IP to maybe to Google, it will not go because this is already using it. So that's what I want you to understand about. If you copy this IP and go to online, of course, let this IP and go to try to browse it. It can direct you to the website. Because I assigned this IP to one of we are creating one small website. This is the Google home. Let's try to copy this. You can try to access this on your here. Okay, you can ping. Maybe you see now that it directed us to Google. So DNS, I show you this because I want you to understand the difference between DNS and IP. Okay, you understand? So this one, this IP that we use is just an IP. It's just like my name is Matthew. So the IP we use IP to locate Google. You can also use their name. Their name is what is called DNS name. Domain name system. That's the DNS. Is DNS name of Google. Then the IP that we just pasted here that took us to Google is just an IP. So that's the difference between DNS and IP. So that's how to assign IP. So what we just want to do now is that static sudo. We want to make the IP static. Sudo, then nano etc. That is, I will explain everything. etc. Then slash. So this is the scripts. We want to open a nano environment. That is, we want to configure this to make it to be stable to using text editors. This script will open the network configuration file using nano, then which is our text editor, where we can write and save. Then thereafter, we want it to be if this one, etc is our directory. So just click enter here. So as you can see, it took us to the text editor. This text editor environment, you can write, save everything. This is what we normally use to write most scripts. If you want to write a payload is an attack script. If you want to send an attack to any system or anybody, any network, we normally use this particular system. So here now, we have, this is the name, source, etc/network/interface.ds, d/s. So you understand? So this how to write. If you want to write anything now, let's assume that you want to create a virus. This is how we create a virus, a Trojan virus. If you want to create it, we will do that. I will give you the script and everything. So if you just copy, open a text editor like this, just like what we just did here, then paste, then you save. That's how to write a payload, in which we are going to do very soon, but not today. So now, what we just need to do is that we copy the IP. You make sure that, first of all, you know your IP. You can ping your IP, this particular system IP. To ping your IP, I want us to check. To know your IP config. You use this command.
If config.
If config rather. IP config is on terminal on Windows system.
Windows.
So now, yes. So now, this interface, this is the IP for this interface. That is the newly network adapter I connected. This is the IP for it. This is the network mask for it. And this one, brokers, this thing is still network mask for it. And this is my IP6 for it. This is the IP6 for this one. Then we also have some other things here that you need to understand, but later. This is our MAC address for this particular. We open this particular one. This is our IP. So you want this particular machine, or you want to assign this IP to this network adapter forever. What you just need to do is that you copy this. Since it's already using this IP, you will copy it. You copy it because I want to assign this. Next time when I remove this dongle, I connect it back again. It's still going to use this IP. Okay, you understand? Even though if another system has already been using this, it will automatically be assigned to it because we call it whitelisted. We whitelist this IP to this particular interface. That is, you whitelist forever. You will be using this IP forever unless you come here to change it. Do you get that one right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's how to do that. So I will just copy this. So I don't want to waste your time. Just copy it, then make some changes. Then I paste it here. Yeah, then I paste. So this is the script that you just need. This is the script. Then always make sure that you have at least 2 space here. Just so indentation is very, very important. So this is the name of the interface is what we want to is in LAN 0. So we just change the interface from here to LAN 0. It's very easy. I will send this thing to you so you can understand better, the note, everything.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
LAN 0. Yeah. So we want it to be static. That's what we want to do. Address, which is the IP of this system, of this. We are changing the IP address to this one, which is 192.168.8. So here is going to be 8. 168.8.
8.192.
Dot 192. Thank you. So the next max is the same thing, almost the same thing everywhere. Then the gateway. The gateway is this one. Yeah, this one that I showed you. That's 196.168.255. So yes, that's the gateway. So we change this, just change it, edit it. It's then that's 255. 255. That's all. Yes, that's all. Just what you just need to do now is just to leave this particular environment is showing you to exit and save. Control S on your keyboard. Then it'll be asking you to save or modify. You just click Y, which is to save. So it has been saved now. So you understand? You just click enter. Yeah, we have already been saved now. So you can access it back by using cat. What you just did. Cat this thing command. So that's how to configure your system as a static to make that's this IP now is what will be assigning to this dongle forever until I go there back and change it.